All right, welcome back to another episode of Sky U Pod. As you can see, it's just me today, so not sure how long the show will be, but we'll appreciate any comments that you're willing to leave, and I'll read them off and get some interaction going here. But yeah, Gophers defeat the Nevada Wolfpack 27 to nothing. First back-to-back shutout since 1962. So say what you want about the actual test and how hard it was, but the Gophers defense once again showed out. So that was great to see here. We are Sky U Pod. We are the College Huddle affiliate for Gopher football. So feel free to go check out our partners there at thecollegehuddle.com. A lot of college football articles there. And if you want to, please hit subscribe and that alert button for Sky U Pod. We appreciate the support and helps us out a lot. And yeah, thanks for joining us here this Sunday morning. Again, it's just me, so I'm not sure how long the show will go, but just wanted to get in a quick recap before moving on to Iowa coming up this week, as we know that's a big one. Yeah, I guess let's just get into it. So offensively, Gophers started with the ball. We're moving the ball well. I thought they did okay overall. That first drive, especially, I thought the offensive line showed much more of a push when running. I know we didn't run the ball a lot this game, but that first drive, I was impressed. I think it was Johnson got the false start as we got into Nevada territory on that opening drive, and we got it down to a 4th and 2. I was hoping, a lot of fans, I was there at the stadium, a lot of fans were hoping we'd go for it there. And I thought with the way the offensive line was protecting, I thought we would have. But, PJ opted for the 54-yard field goal. We got it. So tough to complain about that. But I thought for sure that was one that we might have considered going for it there. I thought Brosmer's first half overall was pretty solid. I know his stat line didn't finish amazingly, but 16 for 26, 191 yards and a touchdown and a pick. The offense it's just going to take getting used to. It's just not the same offense that we're used to seeing. It's a lot of quick hitting passes. I'm a little bit questionable of how that's going to hold up once we get into Big Ten play. We didn't run the ball tremendously once again. Again, the O-line was better, but just overall inconsistent. A lot of 3-and-outs. A lot of meat left on the bone, I guess you could say. Got into the red zone, had to settle for field goals, had the pick in the red zone. It was just a little clunky, I guess is the best way to describe it, but overall better. Darius Taylor had the big run that really helped. That put the average yard per carry over 6 yards. But you take that one away, and we only averaged 3.1 yards a carry without that 80-yard touchdown run by him. So still some work to do there. If we want to talk about that Brosmer pick specifically, I thought, the read was fine. Maybe let him a little bit too much. Didn't look like Driver was on the same page as him with the fade to the corner of the end zone. For us getting called for that ticky-tack pass interference earlier on, I thought it was pretty clear their D-back pushed off of Driver, leading them to the pick in the end zone. So that was a little questionable there, but probably Brosmer's worst throw of the game, to be honest. I thought he was pretty solid overall. Elijah Spencer really stepping up. Another solid game from him. 4 catches, 54 yards. Daniel Jackson ended up with 4 catches, which it just didn't seem to me that he had that many catches there, but he did have that nice catch and run on the 39-yard little bubble screen, quick screen there that probably if he cuts it in sooner would have led to a touchdown, but it is what it is. Talking about the run game again, though, Marcus Major broke out a couple of times. He had a 20-yard run and a 19-yard run. Thought he could have got more carries. Like I said, we didn't run the ball a lot. 32 attempts, but 6 of those were Brosmer when he was just scrambling. 11 carries for Darius. Marcus Major had 8. And then the backups came in. 3 carries for Mayhem. 2 carries for Newbin. Bangura got 2. offense was okay, just more consistency, I guess. And they look best when they're in this quick hitting format. The 2 minute offense right before the end of the first half. I think it was 6 plays, 79 yards, like a minute and a half. Brosmer really excels at that, which is great to see. Darius Taylor, 5 catches on the day. So those little check downs to him, I mean, that's going to be tough to stop. You got to be a really good linebacker to tackle him in space. So, I mean, Iowa does have those for next week, so that'll be something to watch. But that's just kind of like another form of the run game at this point. Just having everyone drop back, you're showing pass, and then a check down to the running back makes one guy miss, and he turns upfield for 8-10 yard gains. So, um, I think that'll be a vocal point going forward as well. Um, you know, the receivers were used well. I thought a couple drops hurt us. Brosmer overthrew Daniel Jackson on that deep one. He was open for a touchdown. Jackson had a couple drops actually this game too. So little bit of cleanup work there. But, Jackson had the 39-yard catch. Elijah Spencer had a 29-yard catch. Jameson Gears had the 22-yard catch. Lemeki Brockton, a 19-yard catch. So the chunk plays were there, and that was encouraging to see. And Nevada was a solid team. I know their record didn't show it, but like we said, they probably should have won opening week against SMU. They beat Georgia, or they beat Troy, and then they lost to Georgia Southern in another game that they probably should have won. So, not the greatest game overall by the offense, but I mean, I'd give an A+ to Darius Taylor. He was the clear difference maker. And that's probably what they're going to need this year, to be honest. They're going to have to survive on this quick hitting game, and having Darius Taylor and Marcus Major make some guys miss and make plays in the running game. So we'll see how that goes. Really curious to see how that works in Big Ten play, especially with Iowa, because they're just going to be sitting there. They don't blitz a lot. They're going to give you some of that underneath stuff. Are you going to be able to make Jay Higgins and those other linebackers for Iowa miss and get consistent movement up front? I don't know. So offensive line still has a lot of improvement to make, but overall, it was a step in the right direction. And PJ talked about just how the offense is going to look different compared to years past going forward. So, he mentioned another data point that they have now to learn what they can and can't do. We'll see. Oh, also, I just want to bring up, PJ talked about how, he defended that 3rd and goal from the 9 run against North Carolina the opening week. And he says, who knows, if we get inside the 5, maybe I go for it there. That was proven to be a lie. That second drive of the game, we got inside the 4-yard line, and we settled for the field goal. Which, by the way, we got in the red zone inside the 10 and threw 3 straight passes, which I wasn't upset about. When we got in the 4, I was surprised Darius Taylor didn't get another carry, but it is what it is. Again, I liked what the offense did this game, like trying, play calling wise. It just didn't seem like maybe the best execution. And, again, we were rotating in different guys at right guard and right tackle. Quinn Carroll was playing both. I think the redshirt freshman, Philip Daniels, got in at right tackle at one point. I think Ashton Beers got in again at the guard spot at one point. So they're trying to make it work. Curious to see what the game plan is for Iowa. I'm guessing it's Quinn Carroll back to right tackle and Lewis in at right guard, but we'll see what they do. We'll touch on special teams here quick. Quentin Redding out for the year, unfortunately. I know we had been pushing on the show for someone else to be back there returning. Didn't want that to come from injury, obviously. That's never what you want to see. But Lemeki was back there as the primary returner on kick return. Again, you didn't give up any points, so you didn't get to see a lot of him. The first return probably wasn't great to start the game, only getting you to the 14, 16-yard line. But, I still think he looks quicker than what we've had back there. And then Coy Perrick back on punt returns looked very good. 2 returns on the day. That 1 16-yarder, he was very close to breaking it for a bigger return. So again, just getting your athletes the ball in a situation like that does you a lot of good. and I think he's going to be pretty good at that spot. I would imagine that's his spot the rest of the year. He showed that he could handle it. Yeah, so anytime Koi's getting the ball in his hands, it's probably going to work out pretty well for this team. And PJ again was gushing about him in the post game presser, so that was nice to see. Defensively, again, if we're gonna nitpick here, there was a couple times where they lost contain, I thought, but guys hustled, chasing it down, running it sideline to sideline. Jalen Logan Redding, I thought, was very noticeable this game. He probably had his best game of the year. Jack Henderson, again, always around the ball. We sent a lot of blitzes at them. Henderson had a sack and a half, I believe, he got credited for. Um, Devin Eastern was there in the middle again. Josh Joyner, I know he didn't show up on the stat sheet a ton, but again, he was very noticeable. And then how about Kerry Brown? Redshirt freshman, 2 interceptions, very solid in coverage. Um, tough to complain about the defense this game. Again, not maybe the strongest test, but Nevada had that Texas transfer running back, Red, so he was a good back coming into this one. We were worried about maybe the missed tackles showing up, and there was a couple missed tackles, but overall, really solid game again from the defense. Tough to give them anything lower than like an A-, B+ this game. I thought they were fantastic. Nevada had one drive where they were kind of steadily moving down the field, aided out by a couple penalties on the Gopher defense, but I thought those calls honestly were a little ticky-tacky. It's probably the homer in me, but special teams making the play on the blocked field goal. I think that was Anthony Smith that got a hand on that field goal attempt to have it come up short. But Ethan Robinson made the other interception. That was great to see. Cody Lindenberg was around out there. Baranowski, Devin Williams. Yeah, Jalen Logan Redding finished with 6 tackles this game, second on the team. Ethan Robinson with 8. Now, to be honest, for me, the story coming out of the game is going to be the injury to Justin Wally, best corner on the team. Got hurt the first or second drive of the game and did not return. He was in street clothes, it sounds like, right away with the wrap on his leg. That's going to be huge. Maybe not for against Iowa. They don't throw the ball super well. But you don't have a lot of depth there to begin with. So losing someone as good as Justin Wally at a position where you're not super deep, it's a little concerning. And hoping we get him back for sure by USC. Your next 2 games are Iowa and Michigan, who have not been fantastic at throwing the football. But again, Justin Wally is just a playmaker out there. So even not having him out there for running plays is going to hurt you. And again, it's just another less experienced player bringing out onto the field. But as far as inexperience goes, that the safeties probably are the least experienced, and they continue to shine. Darius Green was back this game. Thought he played well. He got in for a sack, I believe, too. Him and Henderson were being brought a lot off the edge. Gooseby is a good player. I just feel like he's a step away a lot of the times. He's the safety over the top on that one. They had one play over 20 yards, I believe. They caught a 23-yard pass on Brian, I believe, and Gooseby was the safety over the top. And he didn't do anything wrong necessarily. He's just a step behind, I feel like, on some of his reads. And that hopefully that comes with time, that he gets a little faster. Gooseby again was blitzed off the edge in this game. He missed the sack, but he's right there. He's right there to make a play. He's just not always finishing the play, but he's another young guy they're excited about. I just feel like he's maybe a guy that Koi could be getting subbed in for a little bit more often. Koi didn't play a lot this game defensively, which was a little surprising just with how much he got rotated in against Rhode Island. Like I said, Green was back this game, so that was probably part of the reasoning there. But Coleman Bryson again, he had a nice pass breakup. Been really impressed with him. He was someone that was pretty shaky last year after his strong bowl game effort a couple years ago. So he's been really solid. And Kerry Brown, like Coleman Bryson and Kerry Brown, are probably your two best safeties right now as far as guys that are out there a lot. So I don't expect to see them coming off the field a lot. Ethan Robinson, strong in coverage. I'm just really impressed with this secondary because I was really worried about them coming into the year. I know the competition hasn't been maybe amazing as far as the quarterbacks they've gone up against yet, but for what they've had to do, they've aced it, I'd say. So not giving up any big plays, not really losing anybody in coverage. Corey Heatherman deserves all the credit right now. They've been really, really good in these first three games. And the biggest complaint you can say really about them is just the missed tackles in that first game. It will be interesting to see how this front holds up against Iowa and Caleb Johnson this upcoming week. I think he's now the nation's leading rusher, averaging almost 8 yards a carry. So we haven't had anybody since North Carolina that's trying to run right at us. And so North Carolina was able to stay on the field the best, against us, obviously, out of these first three games. So I'm guessing the defense looks a little bit closer to that first game than they did the last two as far as performance wise, but hopefully just clean up the tackling and bottle up Caleb Johnson because he is the heartbeat of that Iowa offense right now. I feel like my Twitter feed is flooded with Iowa fans complaining about Cade McNamara. Like I said, I was at this last game, but at one point Sullivan came in for him, so that'll be curious to see what Iowa does next week. But yeah, this front will be challenged probably more so than, well, at least since North Carolina, as far as the physicality up front, and being a little bit thin at D tackle. We'll see how that matchup plays out. But yeah, I mean, you can't, the defense back-to-back shutouts since 1962. We're heading back to the glory days as far as I'm concerned. That's what that means for me. Yeah, guys, that pretty much covers it. Again, Max Brosmer, they have him a QBR of 39.2, which seems really low. I know he missed a couple throws, 16 for 26. His first half was really good though, because I mean we didn't run the ball great in that opening half, and I thought he carried us down the field. Again, mixing it around. But yeah, Gophers win 27-0 here over Nevada. It's just me, but I think we touched on basically all the big components of this game. The Darius Taylor run was great. Maybe I didn't give that enough credit. Made a couple guys miss, broke through two tackles, and then was off to the races. Got the blocks downfield to finish the job off. And I think that's just going to be what the running game looks like. I think it's going to be more of a keeping them honest and just enough to open up this quick hitting stuff that Brosmer seems to really excel at. So PJ said it's going to look a little different. I don't think he was claiming that, by the way, before the season started, but he's been saying that a couple times now in the post game pressers. Yeah, I think just a short, quick hitting, efficient pass game is going to be what they rely on. You're going to have to mix it up a little bit more against Iowa, and they did this game. There was some, the tight end breaking free off play action down the field. Daniel Jackson getting open down the field, Brockton open down the field. They did mix it in well. It's just you can't be over reliant on these hitches and outs that we seem to run a lot this game. Again, it was Nevada, so they're probably not showing everything, but really curious to see. I feel like we still kind of have the same questions that we've had, after last week. It's just, is the offensive line going to get better? That right guard spot, that right side of the line, just whoever's going to go with Quinn Carroll, it's going to be a talking point for sure, because Iowa's defense is really good. They've given up some big plays, which is a little uncharacteristic. I'm just going to move on from that. Giving up some big plays, which is not usual for them. But, yeah, that's all we got for today, I guess, fellas. If you don't got anything else to shoot in the comments, appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, we are Sky U Pod with the College Huddle. Gophers win 27-0. We'll be back this week with a preview for the Iowa game. Pigs on the line, Floyd's on the line. Should be a great game. They're going to be up for it. We're going to be up for it. NBC primetime. So really excited to talk about that one. We should be live again Tuesday, 7:30 is our usual time. We're trying to get in touch with the Iowa guys. They haven't responded to us yet. Maybe they're still salty from last year, but we'll reach out, get them on to give you guys the best preview we can. And yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, go Gophs. We'll see you